Florida is the latest state to approve severe restrictions on abortion access. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill to establish a 6-week limit on abortions if the state's current 15-week law is upheld in court. Meanwhile, the Biden administration wants the Supreme Court to get involved in a legal challenge to a commonly used abortion pill. Nancy Cordes is at the Supreme Court with more. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, Dana. Yes, Florida is a great example of how quickly and dramatically state laws are changing in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision last year to overturn Roe v. Wade. Women in Florida, the nation's third most populous state, will now only be able to get abortions within the first 6 weeks after conception, a point at which many women still don't even know they're pregnant.
Our body, our choice!
Amid protests in Tallahassee, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a 6-week abortion ban late Thursday night. It's called the Heartbeat Protection Act.
We have the opportunity to save lives.
We are creating a death sentence for women.
Florida now joins the ranks of a dozen Republican-led states that have enacted near total bans on abortion in the 10 months since the Supreme Court undid nearly 50 years of federal protections. And GOP lawmakers aren't stopping there. In Texas, Republicans are pushing to block websites that provide information about abortions. Just this month, Idaho made it a felony to help a minor get an abortion out of state.
Women should have the freedom to make decisions over their own bodies.
Now, several Democrat-led states are stockpiling abortion medication, the latest front in this fight.
Last year, the attacks were on abortion procedures. This year, medication abortion. What's next? Contraception? Birth control?
All eyes are now back on the Supreme Court after a conservative federal appeals court panel imposed new restrictions Wednesday on access to the abortion drug Mifepristone, blocking mail delivery of the pill, shrinking the window in which women can take the medication from 10 weeks down to 7, and requiring in-person doctor's visits.
It's going to benefit America's women and girls across this country.
How is it going to benefit them?
They're going to have protections. Again, having to go and meet with a doctor beforehand to determine whether she has life-threatening complications before taking these drugs is essential.
Mifepristone is used to carry out more than half of all abortions in this country. It was approved by the FDA 23 years ago.
Mifepristone is one of the safest medications we have. It went through not just a normal FDA approval process, but was really held to a higher standard.
Polling finds more than 6 in 10 Americans think abortion should be legal in all or most cases. Those numbers have a few Republicans, like South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, pushing for a more moderate approach with later gestational limits and exceptions for rape and incest.
I see the pulse of everyday Americans on both sides of the aisle, men and women alike, and they're not with us. They're not with the extreme, far-right, crazy nut jobs that want to go to these extreme places.
The Justice Department has appealed these new abortion pill restrictions to the Supreme Court. But if the 9 justices don't weigh in by the end of the day today, those restrictions will start to go into effect across the country tomorrow, Vlad.
All right, Nancy Cordes reporting for us. Nancy, thank you.